Good evening, everybody. This is Chris Vanberg and Brian
Brian
Johnson.
Johnson.
Tonight is another beautiful weekly free webinar. Tonight we're going to be talking about grocery store wisdom and the power that lies simply in the grocery store. So much you could spend less on medical expenses if you just knew the power that was in basic, simple foods at the grocery store. For those of you that don't know us, once again, I'm Chris Vanberg. This is Brian Johnson. We represent a company called Think Great, Lose Weight. I met Brian probably now about 12 years ago. He was the personal training manager of 24 Hour Fitness. Really taught me everything I know about working out and fitness nutrition. And about 7 or 8 years ago, we went on this journey to go into business together. And studied all these different aspects about what we call symptom reversal nutrition. And a lot of that we're going to be going over tonight. And then we got into so many other things like body language and conscious language, acupressure systems, the Eastern Chinese medicine, meridians, and we just learned all these different aspects of health. We had a whole understanding of the human body that we didn't know before. And I gotta say, Brian helped spearhead that for us, and man, it's been a wonderful ride ever since. Anything you want to say there, Brian?
Yeah, so I ran into Chris, like you said, probably 12 to 15 years ago, and when I met him, he was not working out at all. He was doing his cubicle junkie, which is kind of what most of what Austin does. So it's been a great ride. What an amazing experience we've had with being able to assist and support over 14,000 people in the process. So we have seen a lot of things happen from our own parents, my dad specifically having prostate cancer, and me going on a journey of figuring out what to do and how to do it with holistic nutrition and emotional components, and Chris's mom having fibromyalgia, and he helped her reverse that with foods and water. Who would have thought? So we kind of got into a lot more specifics on, all right, well, God obviously put these foods and things here on the planet for a purpose. So let's figure out what they do as far as their medicinal properties for people. So what we specialize in is helping to understand why kiwis help to reverse breathing disorders and why asparagus help to reverse other type of illnesses. And we're not doctors by any means, so anything that we say and invite you to try, you should probably do some research on your own and check with your medical physician if you choose to. What we do is all holistic. It's all from the grocery store. So we just teach people how to empower themselves from understanding the wisdom that is right underneath our noses that we had no idea. So we coach on and teach on and educate on. We preach what we practice. And we use air, water, food, and consciousness as our pillars of health, where we really dive in and go in deep on why air is important, why food's important, why your sleep, why your thoughts, all of that. And if you followed any of our videos today, you saw us mention some stuff on air, you saw us mention some things on water. So what we do is we really like to master the basics, because it doesn't matter what you're doing and who you are, and there's no magic pills, there's no fast way to do this. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You see a lot of people doing sprinting stuff that are going up and down, and I can tell you, for me personally, I've been 260 3 different times, so I understand the roller coaster, and I understand the emotional components that go behind it, with the shame and the guilt and the anger and the unforgiveness and the resentment towards ourselves or towards others, that creates a vicious cycle that if we don't step out of it and consciously look at it and see, oh wow, I'm reacting to this pattern that I was completely unaware of, the cycle just continues, and we pass it down. And some of the stuff we probably picked up from mom and dad and just observing relationships. So a lot of what we do is we really help to empower people to understand and to see what's available through basic things that we do every day: air, water, food, and consciousness. So that's what I got.
I'll also say that it's important to understand that we really just sell education. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on investing in ourselves through coaches and mentors and educational classes and certifications. And along the way, we've learned that it's not about selling product. right? You run into so many people that are like health coaches or professionals that really are just there to sell you, you know, this supplement or that product or whatever. And our product is education. And so, because we believe that you shouldn't have to spend hundreds of dollars a month on these weird odds and ends supplements or medications for that answer to be healthy. What you just need to know is the education of how to be healthy with the normal foods in day-to-day life, because it's the little things that you do every day that add up over the course of your life. Just like Brian says, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if we can teach you those little things that you can buy at the grocery store that can help you with symptom reversal or health and longevity without spending a lot of money, just at your normal grocery store, man, that is practical living, and it's information you can share with your whole family, and maybe exponentially beyond that.
You know, the only thing I would really add to it is that some people, and I say some, I'll probably speak for, let's say 80% of the population, when they wake up in the morning, they hate what they do. They don't like going to work. They don't like the way they feel. They're in a rut. They can't change it. They don't know how to change it. They don't even know where to start. Most of the time, they don't even know who they really are. I can tell you that we've been through the ringer in life with some pretty crazy experiences and have been through the bottom of it and to the top again multiple times. And when I say that, I honestly feel I'm one of the most blessed people on the planet. When I'm sitting here at my office at home studying and learning stuff, and I'm going, I really get to do this. I really get to share this. This is what I do for my job. Man, I'm a heaven on earth. And all I invite you to think about is that, is this possible for you? Is it possible for you to understand things about yourself to where you can right now, today, not tomorrow, I'm talking on this hour or 30, 45 minutes, however long we invest time together with each other, what can I take away from this that will bless my life? Because there will be something, if you choose to find it and are open-minded to it, there will be information that we share with you that can potentially change your life and your families. So there is nothing more on the planet that we would rather be doing than sharing the information that we're about to share with you. This is what we are here for, and are perfectly understanding of what God has given us the message of being messengers to. So we invite you to really just open your mind. And it's really interesting. The mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. So we invite you to take your beliefs and the things that you're holding on to that maybe you have been passed down, that you have never even questioned. We ask you not to get rid of them, just to take them and set them right here. And we're going to present to you some information that could potentially make very logical sense to you, that may question some of your belief systems. And that's great, because that means that you are expanding unless you choose to contract, which is a choice that every one of us has the opportunity to make every time new information is presented in front of us. And coming from me to you, there's been lots of stuff that in my meat-headed days when I was lifting weights and putting them up and putting them down that I would not have believed, things that I have seen and things that I have experienced. It has revolutionized me to the point that I'll tell you this. 5 years ago, I would have told you if you had an issue or a symptom, you needed to go see a doctor. Today, I would tell you the only time I would go see a doctor is if you had your leg broken or you have some type of surgery like a heart condition and you need to have a heart transplant. Other than that, everything that we're going to share with you, you can do from the grocery store for the most part.
And if you talk to us soon enough, you might not need a heart transplant, okay? That's just, Yeah. Yeah, if it's a quadruple bypass, if you talk to us soon enough, you might not need that surgery, right? So
yeah. So what we're really going to discuss with you is what we call slight edge thinking. It means, how can I make the best decision for me right now that's going to support my highest potential mentally, physically, and spiritually each moment I have a chance to make a decision. That's how we educate, and that's how we share information with people. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get in, and I believe that I'll be able to get this working this time. If you watched last week, I had a little hang up, but it's all good. So we're going to go ahead and get some slides going. I invite you to get some water, get a notepad, and we'll discuss all this in a second.
Turn off your cell phones, grab a pen and paper, close your Facebook, pay attention for a second. Because look, we just really do want to share some valuable wisdom. And I'll be honest, we're just going to share, like a small fraction of what we really believe as far as some foods, because we only have a limited time to be able to do that. But we've just picked some really powerful foods that we believe you should know about because they really apply in sort of almost every aspect of life. And so there's so many things that can help with. So we're going to spend a little bit of time right now.
We're going to invest some time right now with you.
Okay.
So, hey, on that note, before we start, you may hear Chris and I go back and forth with offering higher potential suggestions with word choice. You may hear one of us auto-correct our conversation in the middle of speaking and saying something because there is a higher version that's available to you, to me, through word choice. Like spending. When I say I'm going to spend some money, automatically I think I've just wasted all of it. So instead of that, from now on, we invest. I invest everything I do, from my time to my money to whatever, because that implies I'm receiving something of value in return. So you'll hear us do a lot with wordplay. Carry on.
We definitely talk about a lot about conscious language. That's one of the tools we use to coach. And we self-correct all the time because a lot of times the way you speak about your life subconsciously decides how you think about it. So when we correct ourselves, it's because we're trying to make a higher choice about both our conscious and our subconscious thinking about the way we think and feel about a subject because well, man, that mimics you. You speak the way your life, the way you want to live it, right? Or you choose to live it. And so you'll hear us make those corrections. And so I once again, have an open mind and be conscious of them. So
yeah, we are crazy. So it may sound like that, and that's okay.
So this is week 4 of our Think Fit Nutrition series. And today's real focus is grocery store wisdom. This is Brian and I on one of our trips. You can kind of see a little flip there. Brian and I spend trips all the time. We invest a lot with coaches, and so it involves a lot of travel where we learn and experience from and everything, right? From nutrition and counseling and coaching and marketing and business, because we believe in investing in ourselves, and we love to share that knowledge.
And we invite you to value investing in yourself, because here's one thing where there's a huge miss. Your number one most valuable asset that you have in your life is you. It's your health, your ability to take care of it, and your ability to provide massive value in your life, in your family's life, in the relationships of the people around you, to be a blessing to as many people as you possibly can. And if you don't value your own existence and you value your own person, you're completely out of line and out of integrity with who you are as a spirit being made by a creator which designed us to create. So if you're living in stories of I'm not good enough and shame and resentment and unforgiveness and mom did this to me and well this happened to me and it's your fault, well that's a bunch of crap. And today I invite you to take that belief system and put it on a shelf and perhaps fill it with some of the information we're about to share with you that can potentially change how you view your life and how you walk forward from this moment on. So, please turn off your cell phones, close your Facebook, go somewhere where it's quiet, get some water. I highly encourage you to get some water. It's going to help your thinker. It's going to help your energy levels. It's going to help oxygen to flow through your body. And I invite you, you may want to take some notes, okay? And I've already asked you this, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you again. Give yourself permission to be open-minded, because I have learned so much since I have put my little old belief system and egoic mind on the altar daily, moment to moment, sometimes a lot of moments. So just giving yourself permission to just receive some information and see how it resonates with you. So here's what we got. I'm going to take a sip and we're going to get rolling. So we're going to talk about the current state, meaning how we are as a population in the United States. And if you're viewing this from outside the U.S., you may be in a better position, and we love you, and we're grateful for you sharing this opportunity with us, and we honor you for using and actually allowing us to invest this time with you, because ultimately, here's something to take away. Don't let anyone ever waste your time. You will never get it back. You can get your money back. You can potentially get your health back. You can get any physical possession back, but you will never get your time back. So make sure you maximize it daily, moment to moment. Now, here's the 4 leading causes of death, according to the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control. And you're right, this is not an outdated presentation. That's 2010. That means that's the last time that these numbers were available. So I'm going to give you these, and keep in mind, it's 5 years later now. Okay? Heart disease, #1 killer, almost 600,000 people a year. Cancer, approaching fast, almost 570,000 per year. Chronic lower respiratory diseases, almost 137.5. Stroke, almost 130,000. Now here's the interesting part. Okay? If you look down there a little further, you're going to see this red word that says iatrogenic deaths. Now I ask you, have you heard of this term before? Well, if you have, that's amazing, because I have not until 2 years ago, and I have been in this field since the age of 7 years old. I've invested my whole life in learning this information to the tune of over 70,000 hours. So I had just heard this term when Chris and I were at Institute of Integrative Nutrition 2 years ago. This term represents the number of medical errors that happen that result in death that are completely unnecessary. Okay? Now, why they're not in there labeled as medical deaths that could have been preventable and said they're on iatrogenesis, I have no idea. However, this is the information that's available, and now they don't even have to give you the legal stats of what's actually going on, because there's been rules and laws and legislation passed to where this information no longer has to be displayed publicly. And I'm going to add this into this. I am for Western medicine. I may sound crazy, and I am very passionate about what I do, and I am partly crazy, and that's okay. You have to be doing this. I am for Western medicine. I have seen them save people's lives. One of my best friends has had his daughter have 2 double lung transplants. That's not a walk around the block. That's an amazing feature, an amazing accomplishment to do that. I am for Western medicine. What I am also for is understanding how air, water, food, and consciousness, meaning our thoughts and our emotions, intermingles in that process that potentially creates these situations that they are now fielding the symptoms versus the root issues. So I am all for intermingling and integrating these bodies of knowledge to provide a true wellness aspect. 40% of these deaths are actually preventable. And here's some good news. On the next page right here, you'll see that over 90% of the deaths that we just mentioned are preventable by lifestyle choices. And this is how Chris and I focus on the education that we put out and how we choose to serve you and how we choose to show up in your life and our life daily.
I also have 2 other numbers that I would like to add onto that slide, but I haven't done that yet, which is, 1, the United States spends per capita $8,500 per person. That's the World Health Organization did a study about the 100 most industrialized countries. Okay, we spend 2.5 times the average. We spend more than any other country per person on our health care, and we spend 2.5 times the average of these other countries on our health care. And you would think that means we have the best healthcare system in the world. But actually, we ranked 38th in the world, which means we barely made the top half, even though we spend 2.5 times more than most countries, which means something is dramatically wrong, because our system of medical care and healthcare is based on profit. And therefore, there's always going to be things wrong when your system is based on profit.
Yeah, I just now picked my chin up off my desk. So that's a little crazy in my opinion. So what we have next for you is, it's really difficult sometimes for people to truly understand how foods can intermingle with their life to literally change their life. So what we did is we actually are going to post one of my good friends and clients from a long time, her experience of some things that we were able to share with her. So just listen in.
I don't hear it, Brian.
No?
No. Do you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it, but let me see if I can turn it up. You can't hear it?
No. Let it play. Let me go to the other thing and see if I can hear it.
You can't hear it? I can hear it. You can't?
No. No. Oh well.
Well, if you can't hear it, then
They might not be able to hear it either. Okay, keep going. We'll tell you a testimony another time. That's a shame.
so basically what just happened, or what was supposed to just happen outside of technical difficulties, my friend Violet, I've known her since high school. She was on 4 heavy-duty medications, some anti-anxiety, some amphetamines, and some different things that are really debilitating. She had been on them for over 30 years. Well, she approached me and had some questions about some things, and it kind of got into some emotional components, and it really started getting into food and some things that you can do with food. And with the things that we actually supported her with, she was able to knock off all of those medications in 3 months. And I wish you could see the testimonial, because when I saw the testimonial, I was like, wow, this really happened? And if I hadn't seen it so many times happen with people, I wouldn't believe it myself. But it's amazing what I've seen food do for people. Real nutrients from the store, kiwis, little hairy fruits. Yeah, those things have amazing medicinal properties that a lot of doctors and a lot of medicine practices money is dumped into figuring out what things are in those fruits and vegetables so they can extract them and make medications out of them. So go ahead, Chris. I'm going to pull the slides back up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is just knowing what's possible. And you know, listen, I mean, I was able to treat my mom's fibromyalgia, which was umpteen years ago, but so many people have we been able to help get off even the simplest of things: blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. There are so many things that, by Western medicine standards, they just give you something to treat the symptoms. But if you correct your lifestyle habits, you dramatically change these things, and you can fix your body, or correct your body, or you can get your body to heal, and not struggle, right, with constant medication dependence. So one of the things that we love to help people with is sort of what we call, you know, medication reduction or symptom reversal, and we call it disease reversal nutrition. And it's
Chris,
quite possible. So we're going to go into these foods today.
Chris, I'm going to try to play this thing one more time. Hold on. So let me know if you can hear it. No?
No.
Okay, we'll go forward then. So without further ado, we'll have to cut that later, but we'll get back to it. So anyways, here's the first week of subjects that we've actually covered.
Brian, go to screen share. You're not in screen share. You're in present mode, but you're not in screen share.
Hold on. Let's talk about the Mediterranean diet.
And, you know, one of the things. So our first week we did diet theories. We went over a couple of the main ones. We went over zone diet, Atkins diet, you know, 80-20 rule, 90-10, raw food eating, blood type diet. That was our first week. Go to week 2.
Damn.
Next week we focused on immune system, understanding how important the digestive flora is, how many environmental toxins are and how they affect your health, things to help you boost your immune system. We talked a little bit about constipation and emotional withholding, fighting cancers, harmful effects from GMOs. We spent a little time on acidic and alkaline balance because that's obviously very important. So importance of water. Once again, we go back to our 4 pillars of health: air, water, food, and consciousness. Digestive health, sunlight, good and bad foods, like a little picture of the beet right there. So today's focus is really like grocery store practicality, but some of these amazing foods that we just put some pictures of here, we're going to go into detail on. I'll go ahead and kick it off. We'll start in the top left corner. Those are some pictures of some acai berries. Acai berries are known as one of the top superfoods in the world by almost anybody's comparison. And they're really up there because, one, from a micronutrient level, they're loaded with what's called anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are what give a lot of the fruits and vegetables, they're blue color or purple color. So you find blueberries are loaded with them, blackberries have them in there. Sometimes you'll find purple sweet potatoes or carrots. So anthocyanins are very, very powerful antioxidant. And so you'll find it's very hard to actually get the actual berries, but you get the juice that comes from the Amazon. And so there's a lot of power in understanding that. They're actually really good for your eyesight. Brian, anything I missed?
Well, acai berry it's really extremely potent. It's actually great for people with diabetes too, because it's very high in nutrients it has no sugars in it. It's a very important fat. And the bad part about it is the Amazon has been completely hacked by probably 70 or 80%, which is where the acai berry comes from, all for cattle farming, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. So the next one is cilantro, that little one right there in the middle, little green-looking tree. That is your #1 heavy metal chelator, meaning it claws out aluminum, nickel, cadmium, mercury, all kinds of stuff that causes dementia, Alzheimer's, autism. That is your #1 component. Then you have that big mushroom right there next to him, which is the agaricus mushroom. That is arguably the most potent mushroom on the planet for cancer. When they go hunting for these, they have dogs and all kinds of stuff to keep people from stealing the mushrooms. That's how expensive they are. But they work amazingly.
I was going to say, there's hundreds of published medical studies on the agaricus mushroom, and it's considered to be the most studied food on the planet. And the Japanese alone spend billions of dollars studying this mushroom, because it's anti-cancer and it's immune-boosting benefits.
So the next one over on the right, you see the golden beet. Beets are amazing. You probably hear Chris and I say beets beat disease, because that's what they do. Now here's some awesome information. This is something you can take away right now if you haven't already got some other points. The color of the vegetable or the fruit is indicative of what it helps. For example, the orange on the beet helps the eyes and helps the lungs. The beet underneath it helps the blood. It's a blood cleanser. If you look at that crazy looking little real bright colorful flower, that's echinacea. I know you've probably heard of echinacea. It will boost your immune system up to 800%, which is massive. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, going back to the beet. So the colors, that's why they say add more colors into your diet. And this isn't the colors in your Skittles, right? This is the colors from fruits and vegetables. Because each color is a different phytonutrient that has some sort of immune-boosting or health-boosting properties. They're all different types of antioxidants, and they all help your body in different aspects of your health. So, like the red blood, the betaine, the betaine, which is the phytonutrient that gives the bed its rich red color. And if you've ever cut up a beet or had it in other foods, I mean, the red is so powerful it almost stains. And betaine is very similar to hemoglobin. So it helps you produce fresh new red blood cells. So the reason why it's used in so many different disease or symptom reversal protocols is because fresh new blood cells help you get rid of toxins, deliver nutrients, and help your body fight disease of almost any type. So that's why beets beat disease. And that powerful red color is so great for your blood and your health.
It is not so great for your colored clothes and your white clothes. It does stain. I don't care what you have to get it out. It doesn't work. So don't get it on your clothes. So you have that little bitty walnut. You can see half of it on there. But if you really look at the walnut, one of the cool things about it is that it looks like a brain. And it's actually an amazing brain food. It has high amounts of arginine, which opens up the blood vessels so you can get more oxygen and nutrients to your cells. It also, if you on here travel a lot and you're in different time zones and your schedule is off, or you have insomnia, the walnut is amazing to eat an hour or so before you get ready to lay down, because it has high amounts of melatonin. So you actually can help to induce a higher and a better quality of sleep. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, I mean, if you study Ayurvedic medicine or ancient Eastern herbalist medicine, you know, they believe that the foods represent, or the colors and the shapes help represent the organ or the body part or the function of the body And sure enough, science is proving them right? Like they knew for thousands of years that the walnut helped neurologically in the brain because they believed that it looked like the brain. And sure enough, it's the only nut that actually has like omega-3 DHA fats, which is so important for neurological function and creating new new brain cells. So look, listen, whether you believe in God or not, I personally do, and I believe that God gave us foods as nature intended, and with the wisdom, just a little bit of wisdom about your food to help with the body parts and the functioning of our body in the way He intended.
Yeah, so the next one on there is a coconut. And man, I miss being in Cancun because we could go and crack coconuts and eat them and drink them right out of the shell. And man, coconut's amazing. So coconut is very antiviral. It's actually used in HIV/AIDS protocols. And some of my clients have a clear bill of health from no detection of viruses. So one of the amazing things about coconut is that it's a saturated fat. Now here's a writer downer. If you choose to take notes, this is valuable information. You only want to cook with saturated fats, meaning butter, ghee, coconut oil. There's probably some other oils that you can do that have high smoke points, but those specifically don't change structure when they're heated. If you are heating olive oil, you are doing yourself not so good because that's a vegetable oil that is inflamed and it causes inflammation when you heat it because it changes the structure of it and your body doesn't recognize it. So it in turn, the food that you're eating is supposed to be nourishing you. Your body's attacking it because it's not aware and not identifying what type of food source it is, so it thinks it's an invader. Okay? Go ahead.
I'll add, right? So on the oils piece, right, like avoiding things like vegetable oil or canola oil, which is actually a GMO product. These are very low unsaturated fats. They have a very low smoking point. They become carcinogens very quickly under heat. It's funny, they even had an increase of lung cancers from guys in China, and they were trying to figure out what they had, and sure enough, they all had that. There were non-smokers getting lung cancer, and they all had a very specific job. They were cooks, and they stir-fried in vegetable oil, and because they were stir-frying in vegetable oil, that smoke became, they were absorbing that cancerous burnt oil into the smoke, and they're getting lung cancer from it. So be careful, be mindful of what you use from an oil perspective. Avocado oil is also a really good one to cook with. As far as coconut, it also has an active ingredient, a phytonutrient called monolaurin. Monolaurin is an amazing antiviral substance. If you're dealing with a cold or a flu, and you're just possibly worried that you've got some sort of virus, I'll get twofold. One, you can buy the monolaurin product over the counter. Two, let's say you're dealing with a stomach bug. And Brian was the first one that gave this to me, and I've used it with lots of clients now. But let's say you've got diarrhea. You've got a stomach bug. You can saute some coconut oil and eat it. And the antibacterial, antiviral properties of the coconut will most likely kill whatever bug you picked up. And it will flow you up. It'll stop you up and help you plug the hole, as a nice way to put it.
So hey, make sure Chris, he forgot to mention this. Make sure if you have diarrhea, take coconut shavings, preferably no sugar added. Take coconut shavings, put them in a pan, and saute them in coconut oil so they absorb its own essence, and it's majorly potent. It will stop your diarrhea almost instantaneously, so try it out if it's something that works for you. Then let us know how your experience was. So, hey, there's the last one on there. It's a bee. If you see a bee, don't kill it. They're already endangered, and bees are vastly important for our whole civilization because they pollinate all of our fruits and vegetables. If you have allergy issues, bee pollen is amazing. Bee pollen is the highest protein by weight on the planet. And if you get bee pollen or honey, make sure you get local so you can boost your immune system and your allergy system, because what happens is the bee will go around and pull pollen from all kinds of different plants and flowers and things like that. And what happens when we take the honey in is we take in trace minerals of that amount so our immune and allergy system can build up a tolerance to it. So it's very important. It also has its own enzymes to break itself down. If you ever see bee pollen, look at it, and you'll see a bunch of different colors of bee pollen from different plants and different flowers and things. So it's pretty awesome.
The other thing I'll say is that I read a study the other day that said 70 or 80% of commercial honey didn't have any traces of pollen or any even honey left in it or whatever, right? So basically it was so cooked and so processed that you weren't actually getting any of the benefits of it. So many people here in Texas deal with allergies on a regular basis. So having a raw local honey that is uncooked that has traces of bee pollen still in it can help you build up a small trace, because it has the trace elements of whatever all the allergens are in the outside air, and help you build up a small immunity to it. So real raw local honey is really good for your system, and that's why they've been using it for. It's also antiviral, and it's almost one of the only foods in the world that never expires. So it's got a lot of amazing uses.
Love it. So here's where we go. And here's what we're inviting you to join us on if it makes sense for you and our information resonates with you. We basically got a 6-week series that we've done and been doing that we're inviting you to take advantage and join us in it. Here are the things that we discuss. We're going to discuss dietary theories, metabolic eating, which means how to boost your immune system, how to boost your metabolism by understanding how to eat, how many times, that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about macros and micros, which is proteins, fats, and carbs, and vitamins, and things of that nature. We're going to cover symptom reversal foods from the grocery store. We're also going to talk about blending and juicing, which ones are good and why you should do them and that kind of stuff. We'll talk about hormone balancing through your food. We're going to talk about digestive health, autoimmune situations. We're going to talk about blood sugars, and we're also going to talk about why fad diets don't work. And here's what we're offering you. Today, we're offering you a 6-week course that we typically charge people $497 for, and today we're offering it to you for $197. Here's what you get. You'll have 6 live webinars that will approximately be about an hour each. Sometimes they may go a little over. It's all about nutrition. All the stuff that we've talked about in this free webinar here, all the stuff you see on our videos, all of that, a lot of that stuff will be in there. Just us getting more in depth into it. And if you miss the session, they are recorded, so you can go back and check it out at your own pace. You can take notes if you choose. You can just really just juice the information and execute it and implement it into your life and watch what happens. We're also, as a bonus, going to give you all of our recipe books that we use to have cool stuff to eat and to help us to be successful and to give us options so that we're not eating the same thing, and understand that there's a lot of good stuff that's actually healthier. It's just not what we're really used to seeing. So we'll have a lot of this information that we'll share with you. You'll also have 2 months access to our closed membership site where you can interact with the group of people that's already enrolled, that are already sharing this journey with us and this experience. You can communicate with them, with us, in an open group setting where you have the support of a group, and you can also get feedback from the group on different questions and different things that we post. We do post specific content for the group that we don't share in public, so this is something you will have access to. We're also going to give you a 30-minute consultation with one of us where we can sit down and figure out what you're trying to do and how we can best support you. Okay? The next 2 things we're going to give you is 2 Jedi Secrets videos. They will have multiple different ones, but you may have one that is specifically on reversing symptoms from the grocery store, A to Z, what the apple's good for, what the cucumber's good for, that kind of fun stuff. Okay? Now, here's the benefits. The benefits of what you're going to learn is you're going to know how to master the basics, because I don't care who you are. If you're looking for a fast way to go about doing this, or some pill or whatever it looks like for you, the only way you're going to do it is by understanding you and understanding the laws and the specifics and the basics, so you understand how to make decisions and how to correct your adjustments along the way. Together, we've worked with over 13,000 people. We've invested over $100,000 this year alone in coaches. And not a pat on the back, but this is just what we do. This is what I love to learn, Chris and I both. So we specifically put ourselves in very odd situations so that we can grow and understand about ourselves, so we can best support you with information and just emotional support with the things that we do. You're going to learn the secrets to how you work right versus hard and how you can be successful. You're going to learn how to craft the perfect program for you. You'll understand how to reverse symptoms and dis-ease. It's all symptoms. One thing I'll tell you right here is don't name a disease. Don't let your doctor say, oh, well, I have such and such. No, you have symptoms of potentially having such and such. But as soon as you name it, now you've given it power in which it can invest and inhabit your body. So I invite you to not do that. You'll have the support from Chris and I both and all of your teammates in the group that are on to have the same goal as you, which is to get healthier. So basically what we're going to leave you with is today you can choose to have more joy and peace in your life. You can create a better health for yourself first, because if you're not healthy, how in the hell are you going to help someone else to be healthy? If you're a mom and you're not healthy, how are you going to help your child to be healthy? You have to live it yourself before you can help anyone else do it. Thankfully and blessedly, I have known this at a young age, and my health was always my #1 asset. So I did my best to take care of it. Now, when you are in this position, you also have the option and the ability to wear the clothes that you choose versus what you have to because of where you're positioned at physically. And I've been through both, so I'm definitely not pointing fingers. I understand. I've been to 63 times. I get it. Okay? And with that new you and the information on how to produce it, you're going to have a renewed confidence in yourself and your abilities, which means your relationships are going to improve. Your personal relationship with yourself will dramatically improve. Your business relationships and your life in specific will dramatically improve if you listen to what we're asking of you and you implement it and ask for help and questions of which we can help you do. So that's what we got right now. In closing, Chris, what you got?
Look, I can't tell you enough how much valuable this information is. I hope you learned something tonight. That's really the most important thing. I hope you continue to join us. You just got a tidbit of what we're going to share with our paid webinar here that starts in about 15 minutes. We'd love to have you join that group. If you do join the group, you will get access to all the other videos that we have currently done, which is important to know. So we've already done, we're about halfway through. And listen, this is information that you can share with your whole family. I can't tell you the testimonial. My favorite testimonials are somebody that I helped a few years ago, and now their parents are better, their siblings are better, they're having kids and they're raising their kids differently, and it's an exponential return, right? So sharing this information is not only life-changing for me, but my greatest reward is when you share it with others, and the reward is exponential. And so, look, just remember one thing: if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness.
That's right. Have an awesome night, ladies and gents.